يا حسين 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 يا حسين حسين.
It has been narrated by Imam Hussain alayhi salam, I've never known any companions more loyal or favorable than my companions are, and I've never known any family members more regardful and pious than my family members are. I will introduce you to one of the martyrs of Karbala alayhi salam, and that is Burayr ibn Khudayr Al-Hamdani Al-Mishraqi. He was a pious and a well-known nobleman of Kufa. Burayr was a companion of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Burayr was a Quran teacher in the mosque of Kufa and was known as Sayyid al-Qurra, master of Quran reciters in the city of Kufa. Burayr alayhi salam also held a high status in his tribe. He was dedicated to joining the love and salvation caravan of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Burayr approached the holy Imam whilst in Mecca, begging most humbly so the Imam permit him to get martyred, for he wanted to die in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pledge to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa wasallam and be with him in Jannah on the Day of Judgment. Burayr then joined the caravan of love with the Imam Hussain alayhi salam from Mecca to Karbala. He didn't leave the Imam until he was martyred before his Imam on the day of Ashura. At the start of the Battle of Karbala, as Umar ibn Sa'd la'natullahi alayhi was preparing to launch an attack on the army of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam and his companions, the Imam rode a horse and headed towards the enemy, along with some of his companions, to preach Umar ibn Sa'd's massive army. The Imam requested that Burayr preach them too. In his speech, he reminded them of Imam al-Hussein's favor upon them, his holiness, his relationship and closeness to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Burayr also asked them to allow Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam to leave to a safe place, yet they rejected his speech and threw arrows to him, and so he had to retreat. Burayr approached the army of Umar ibn Sa'd with bravery and he was fearless. He fought the army whilst reciting poetry that convey his pride in fighting before Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which gave him strength. It's been narrated that although old, Burayr has killed a large amount of the enemy on the battlefield, although thirsty. It's been narrated that Burayr had at least killed 30 people of the enemy. Burayr had a very high status amongst the people of Kufa that when Ka'b ibn Jabir, one of his killers, returned home after the battle of Karbala, his wife Nawar blamed him as she said, "You have brought us shame as you've committed a huge atrocity by attacking Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam and killing the master of Quran reciters," referring to Burayr alayhi salam. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Every time I'm distracted, I escape to Abu Abdullah alayhi salam to gain focus again on the ultimate goal of this life, and that is to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are many spiritual things and rituals we can do that take us back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we astray from the right path, yet the most speedy and accelerated path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the love of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. The most valuable lesson learned from Karbala is justice and standing up to oppression, and that only starts within by prioritizing morals. What we learned from the companions of the Imam alayhi salam is that their morals was what eventually saved them to be with Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam and to end up in Jannah with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. On the contrary, the enemies of the Imam ended up in that dark path because they lacked morals, although many of them were practicing Muslims. We can serve the Imam by relating the Imam and examples from his life to our everyday life and always aiming to be a good representative of the Imam. We shall always remember too that the carnival of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam still welcomes people along and the battle is not over yet.